Hey there, y'all, and welcome to today's Daily Down and Dirty. My name is Fairlight. Welcome to Airy Fairy Tarot. All right, y'all, so the message today, it reminded me of that part in Forrest Gump where Ginny's a little girl and she wants to get away from her house and she starts praying, "Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far, far away." And you know, that's a pretty intense way to start a reading, but that's what I was hearing. So it's like, make me a bird so I can fly far, far away. Really, the reading says that you become a bird and you fly far, far away. But first, it's like, I think it's getting honest with yourself and being willing to make the change. So we start out with the Three of Scrolls. This is heartbreak energy. Three of Swords, normally it shows like three swords sticking in a heart. So this is a lot of sadness, and this could be about a relationship, but really this could be about anything. Either you have left a relationship and you're heartbroken, or you know that you need to leave, but really it could be feeling like you need to leave any situation, or if you have already walked away, taking your power back by really aligning to what is true for you about moving, flying in a new direction, whatever it is. So, you know, we start out with this heartbreak. Sometimes it takes a lot of pain. I wrote a song one time, and there's a line in the song that goes, sometimes it takes deep love to hurt you enough to change. So it feels like this heartbreak is some sort of a catalyst. And then what this is like highlighting is the Five of Stones or Earth or Pentacles reversed, the 10 of Spirals, which would be fire or wands, and then the King of Stones upright, which again is earth energy. So it feels like, you know, obviously this heartbreak has to do with whatever this energy is. This could be a person. This could also just be a situation. Again, if it was like you're miserable at your job, but you love the security, then the King of Pentacles could represent that. It's stable, it's upright, but over here, it's like, because you've got a 10 but it's reversed, you've got a 5 but it's reversed, it almost feels like an internalized belief system about the burdens that you have to carry even if you're miserable. And it's like you are allowed to change. You are allowed to make different choices. You are allowed to do that. And so, you know, the Five of Earth upright, this is about abandonment wounds, you know, left out in the cold, low self-worth, low self-respect, even low self-love, feeling like you're unloved. And with it reversed, I mean, sometimes it can mean that you're coming out of it, but a lot of times it feels like this is internalized, and not wanting to look at owning your self-worth. In some ways it's like feeling bound to this unhappy situation for security, but it keeps you locked in this loop that like reconfirms in your mind that this is the best you can do, this is the best you deserve, and a lot of us are mind fucked into believing that, mind fucked into believing, you know, we have to stay the course of something that's just not true, doesn't make your heart sing, and then, you know, then we develop all kinds of health issues or mental health issues or whatever because we're not living our truth. So it feels like it's really important to just face the heartbreak of that. And then of course it leads to the Tower. These were the first two cards that I saw come out, and I was like, oh fuck, that's the second reading in a row, a video that starts out with the Tower. So I didn't want to start with that, but you know, it's okay. The Tower is about reality crashing. And you know, it's not easy when reality falls apart, when our constructs, the things, sometimes we've worked very hard for our constructs of reality. We don't want to be the ones to make it fall apart and force ourselves to have to start all over again. Sometimes it's beyond our control. And so this sadness could also be that maybe you didn't have a choice in the matter. Maybe this wonderful situation, whether it's a job or a relationship or whatever, maybe this person or the situation was put on a pedestal, and you are, you know, wanting things not to end, and they are ending, you know, however you want to look at it, but there's something that says there's this perpetual loop, and so, you know, you can find another situation that is the same thing, maybe, but sometimes it's just time for us to move on and evolve, and life will keep putting us in new situations where we have to learn how capable we are of creating new constructs of reality. And we're at a collective thing right now where a lot of people are creating new realities, and different phases of it where our realities are falling apart. Either way, wherever you find yourself in this shift of reality, just know that reality is a construct, and even if you don't want to start over again, know that you can. And sometimes that's what life wants us to do. So just know that you can get through this, that some aspect of your greater psyche has asked for this because there's some new timeline that you want to align to. You've learned all you can from this storyline, and so allow the heartbreak, but then also get inspired. So then we come over here, and this is where the bird imagery really came in. We've got the Page of Air reversed, we've got the Queen of Air upright, we've got the World card, which is called Psyche in this deck, and then we've got the Eight of Mirrors, which is water, Eight of Cups energy. So we start with this Page of Scrolls reverse. This is the Page of Swords, air energy. It's communication, the words we speak, the thoughts we think, the beliefs we operate our lives on, the messages we give, the messages we receive, and ultimately our truth. And truth often is subjective. When our perspectives change, then we expand. And so there's something with this reverse, these two cards. You've got the Queen, and she's got her back turned to this energy. And so in some ways, and you see that she is weaving a tapestry. She's called the Weaver in this deck. You see that she's weaving a tapestry of having wings. And so it's like recognizing kind of, I want to say, old programming, old belief systems, probably things that are founded in this Five of Pentacles energy about low self-worth or what you're able to dream of or conceive of. So it feels like it could be internalized negative thinking, internalized repetitive patterns of belief, and this can be generational, like, I don't know if I gave this example on a video recently, but I know I gave it to someone recently where I didn't realize that I bitched so much until my second marriage. And I love my mother with all my heart, but she, growing up, she tended to bitch a lot and complained and bitched and complained all the time. So I just thought that's what you do when you're a mom, when you're a wife. And so all I did was bitch and complain. And it wasn't till I had like a strong mirror for me to like witness, like, oh, I can choose not to do this. I can choose not to be this person. And so excuse the personal share, but that's the one that wanted to come through. If you're finding fault with others repetitively, or if you're finding fault with your environment often, or if you're finding fault with yourself often, that's something else, that I think a lot of us have to work through, that internalized self-criticism constantly. And with that being reversed, we kind of want to bring it up right, because even though this isn't an idealized way of being, at least if we can look at it and see our patterns of self-sabotage, see our patterns of abandonment wounds, see our patterns of low self-worth, low self-esteem, then we can recognize the patterns and we can make a different choice and we can change our patterns. We're healing PTSD with all this stuff. We're healing trauma. And so again, I like that she's got her back to this. So while this may be running in the background, she's not giving it any energy. She's paying attention to her wings. She's paying attention to, and I'm getting this like Esther Hicks, Abraham kind of message where it's like, you want the contrast. You want to recognize the things you don't want, because when you know what you don't want, it gives you clarity about what you truly do want. And so, but the trick is identifying what you don't want and not giving it all this attention. I don't want this, I don't want this. It's going, okay, so that means I do want this. And then giving all of your attention to, I do want this, I do want this, I do want this. It's really about clarifying your truth. And then we get this woman who has butterfly wings. You can't make this this shit up. Like, I love that these two cards came out together. Truly, she gets wings. And this is the World card. This is the last card of the major arcana. This is closing out major cycles where, you know, I usually look at 10s, and we have this 10 here. Even though it was reversed, we'll turn it right side up. We're closing out this cycle of carrying burdens that just weigh us down and don't really align to our greater freedom and truth. Choice, truth of choice. We close out these cycles, and so where this 10 would represent ending a chapter, this 10 would represent closing out, or this, not 10, it's 21, but this card would represent not only ending chapters, but this would be ending the book. This could be ending not only the book, this is a series. This could be I'm leaving this library and in search of new libraries, you know, new vast arrays of knowledge and inspiration. And so truly taking your power, clarifying what is true for you, and then taking flight. And then once you're closing out cycles, then you're able to walk away from this heartbreak. And the Eight of Cups is really what it is. It's like walking away from what's just no longer fulfilling for you. I like that in this deck, the cups, the water energy is seen as mirrors, because it's this deep self-reflection. And so it's like you go into this deeper self-reflection, and you can see how at one time the situation was a more honest reflection of who you are and what you believed and what you wanted. But now you have transcended that storyline, you've transcended that timeline, and now it's no longer a mirror of who you are or what you're moving towards. And so it's giving yourself permission to walk away from what does not reflect your truth, and giving yourself permission to fly free towards exactly who you know yourself to be now. All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like a reading from me and you happen to be in the downtown Asheville, North Carolina area, come on into Instant Karma. It's a one-stop hippie shop. We got all your groovy hippie swag, clothes, tapestries, posters, candles, crystals, incense, wall hangings, naughty items. Like looking at the case. We've got local art, all kinds of cool stuff. You got to come on in and see it to believe it. And you can also get a palm reading from me, a tarot reading, or astrology reading. And if you aren't in Asheville, you are welcome to hit me up. I'll link my Calendly. You can book online. We do readings over Zoom, and you even get a recording of it afterwards. I also do just private recorded readings, if that would be easier for you too. So whatever you like. Once again, my name is Fairlight. Have a beautiful rest of your night, and peace and love until next time.